general question to all 8 candidates. And then after we go through that first general question, there'll be 2 additional questions, but each of those questions will be different, and those questions were developed by the Chamber of Commerce. So I'm going to start with the first question, and again, through the question process, the timer will be keeping the time for 90 seconds for your response on these 3 questions. So the first question, same question to all of you. What is the most compelling issue, challenge, or need facing the city of Eastville today? And what would be your plan to address that issue if you're elected to the council? So we'll start with number 1 right here to my right.
Thank you, Mr. Newberry. In my opinion, the most compelling challenge that faces Eastville today is our lack of police coverage. Right now, we're currently running around 90 hours of police coverage per day. On Friday, I was privileged enough to be granted a ride-along with our Sheriff's Department, with Eastville PD. And the one thing that I noticed is that we're not a violent city. Okay, it's not LA, let's not fool ourselves. But the 4 officers that we had on duty, even though the calls for service were light, and in general, they weren't major, calls sat on their call log for a while until they were cleared. If something came up, like in our case, we had a missing child, and we looked for him for about 2.5, 3 hours before they listed him as a runaway. In that time, other calls weren't getting answered. So my response to this, what I would like to be a part of, is to find other ways to increase our revenue, get back those vehicle licensing fees if we can, figure out new fundraising or revenue-raising ventures that we can get into, like growing our economy and our business centers and things of that nature. We have to get our budget up on those patrol hours so that we can give our citizens the protection that they need, even though we're not that violent in the city. Thank you.
Thank you. I believe that the biggest problem facing our city right now is financing, funding. And we have a tremendous staff that is managing our city right down to the bare bones. We have a staff of about 30 to 35 individuals operating out of that little tiny city hall. Everything is being conducted out of that little facility. They pretty much have to take turns as far as access to the hallways, to the copier, and they're managing well. But if our city continues to grow, we need to be able to establish new businesses in the community. Because what a lot of people don't understand, even though we have 8% sales tax, the city doesn't receive that. The city receives 1 cent out of that. A lot of other items are paid out of that particular sales tax. And until we can generate enough revenue to really be able to expand, we're gonna be in a situation where we're gonna need to help the city out, because we have to get some businesses in here.
I believe the biggest challenges of our city is to increase, of course, revenues on our tax base, make sure it's a long-term vision so that money continues to come in, not just one time, but for long-term, because that's going to determine our quality of life. That's what we want. We're here in Eastville, we have certain expectations, but those expectations come at a price. Our services, our parks, that costs money to make sure they can maintain, JCC maintains those parks, makes them look beautiful, keeps them safe. Our firefighters, of course, they take a good amount of our budget, so we have to make sure that we have enough firefighters and, of course, police officers. We want to increase the patrols, we want more police officers. In order to do that, we must find the money. So that's why for me, that's the most important issue. Eventually, hopefully down the line, we have our own police department, our own firefighters down the road. I can envision that as well. But this doesn't mean that we grow not responsible. We have to be responsible. We need to grow in a way that we will meet the needs of our residents. Not just grow because we need money here or money there. We need to really think about how it would affect our quality of life and make sure we find that balance. Thank you.
I think our greatest problem we're facing is our law enforcement deficit. We have made some improvements, but we are operating on basically a shoestring budget. Since the vehicle licensing fees were taken away, we're losing about $2.9 million every year. That's almost $17 million since we incorporated. So there's our entire public safety budget is over $7 million. Our city's budget each year is between $14 and $15 million. So you can see that it's eating up a significant portion of our actual budget is going to public safety. So the fact that we were able to increase by 10 hours, we're going to do it again next year. We brought on a motor officer. Hopefully, part of improving the public safety problem is working with our community partners. JCSD, if you noticed, they brought a deputy into the parks. Working with the school district has 2 deputies now instead of just 1. Hopefully, we can work on adding another deputy. The fact that Costco's coming in, that's probably anywhere from $2.5 to $3 million the city's going to see as an increase in revenue. So hopefully when they open next October, we're going to see that revenue realized, and we'll be able to commit it to increasing our public safety budget. So we are going to improve it. It is definitely a shortfall that we're facing, and we're doing an incredible job with what we have. Our crime stats are lower than all of our adjacent cities around us, so they're doing an outstanding job.
Yeah, I'm on the same page with Joe on this one. Is our issue has to do with our public safety. My closing statement, I'm going to talk about how we get revenue, because it all boils down to money, and it costs a lot of money to grow your law enforcement. But here's the issue that we have at hand. We have an increase in mailbox theft. I mean, everyone's here is aware of it. Probably about 6 out of 7 days there's a mailbox theft breaking in our neighborhoods, right? Compromising identity, you name it, right? On top of that, you have marijuana grow houses, you have cars being broken in, right? And I know I'm sure there's investigation to take with this. We're definitely doing what we need to do, but again, it's on a small staff. So we have to grow our law enforcement. Not only that, but we need to have our own substation in Eastville and not utilize Fruitwood Valley. The efficiency level is poor, right? So we have to be able to utilize those things. Again, those things cost money. But here's something that doesn't cost money and what we can do. It's on my website. Here's my plug, BrandonPlug.com. Talks about how to improve your neighborhood watch program. And not only improve it, but just redo how we're doing it, because it's not working, right? If you go in there, you'll read about a 3 or 4 step process on how we're gonna improve the neighborhood watches. Basically, there's about, in my district, District 5, there's about 8 or 9 neighborhoods. What you do is, number 1, you create a meeting. That's nothing new. But 2, we just need leadership and oversight over the neighborhood watch captains to give them something that, whether it's a bi-monthly meeting, just to create that there's active communication going on. And 3, utilizing an active communication platform, which exists. There's apps and all this, everything's available. It's not the perfect plan, but it can work. And I'm definitely open to ideas and make it better. But go read it out, check it out.
The number one issue that I feel is facing Eastville right now is the quality of life. Quality of life has to do with a number of different things, and one that has been brought up multiple times is revenue as well as public safety. Public safety is our number one thing. We want to make sure that we're living in a safe community where we can come home, where we can let our kids run around out front and not have to worry. I agree with Brandon. Within public safety, there's crime in our city. We can't tell the criminals, wait until we get more law enforcement, and then you can come and deal with our higher law enforcement. We need to do something now. We can't wait. And the thing that we've done in our community, or in our neighborhood now, is we did start a neighborhood watch. To answer the second part of the question that Mr. Newberry presented, if elected, that would be my big push, is to start right away with a very low expense of getting neighborhood watches more involved, more successful within the community. As we do that, we get more involved as a community, and we work hand in hand with the deputies. Because of their lack of number of officers that we have, they aren't able to be the eyes and ears that they would like to be out here. With the help of the community members, with a successful neighborhood watch program, we can have those eyes and ears. It's been proven, there's studies out there that show that when neighborhood watches are successful, the crime rate in those areas are reduced. So that would be my number one push.
I have to agree, public safety is an important issue in Eastvale. Over 70% of our budget goes to public safety. In 2015, we were the 14th safest city in California with a very limited budget. So economic development really plays into that role. The Goodman Commerce City, originally by the county, was zoned for 1,700 homes. While I was on the council, we were able to change that to retail commercial, and we're seeing the benefits at this time. Amazon has just opened up. Costco's coming in. We opened in November of 2017. We have a hospital coming. We have Porsche, Audi, Volkswagen coming in with 200 jobs. So this is all revenue that's starting to come into the city, and that will help benefit our tax base for public safety, which takes over 70% of our budget. So I think we're doing a good job with a limited budget, but we can do better. And Neighborhood Watch is a big push, and we should encourage every neighborhood to have a Neighborhood Watch, because we have a lot of police that live in the city of Eastvale. We need to take advantage of that to really bring the eyes and ears to help the officers to pinpoint the problem areas. And we've got cameras coming in that are going to be placed around the city that will help solve that problem.
I think the first challenge we have here in the city of Eastvale is economic development. We have to prioritize that economic development, and by ensuring projects develop on time and budget, ensure that new development will increase community value, and that's what will bring money to the city, and eventually will resolve the law enforcement budget problems, and it will resolve also staffing problems, and as well as increase employment opportunities in our city, and that will improve the quality of our life. I would like to make the city is basically a place to live and work at the same time. As being voted as number 17 in the nation, that put a lot of responsibility on us to bring a nice shopping centers, a nice hotels, a nice retails, restaurants. If we have to go anywhere, we still have to go to Rancho to eat something, or we still have to go to Irvine or Newport Beach. So definitely economic development is an important thing to prioritize by bringing the right business that generate revenue for our city, and at the same time it generate employment and make our city a nice place to live and work.